Hello, I'm back. It's the Advent season and the Christmas season. This is the 53rd day. There's been a pause for about a week. What I'm going to do now for about a month is I'm going to offer you a Baroque choral version of Advent and Christmas music. But as I say, I had to pause. Tragedy has struck a friend of mine, a Facebook friend of mine. So I guess you could say I don't know her well, but it was terrible tragedy, and it let the wind out of me. Her name's Renate, and I don't really want to talk about it, but I found myself thinking about the Shakespearean line, "My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it comes back to me." That's what Mark Antony said at Caesar's funeral. That's what happened to me. I was not ready to teach more. And I wrote December because in my own personal experience, I've often said, I hate that month. I'm so glad when December is past because I've had tragedies strike me. Now this was actually late November and it was not me directly, but anyway, on we go. Baroque music. And I should have said choral. What I'm going to ask you to do after you listen to me here is to watch the first 6 minutes of the Bach chorale, Wachet Auf, ruft uns die Stimme. Wake up calls to us the voice. Wachet Auf. There's the way it's identified by a number. And I very specifically would like you to find, it's easy to find, it's right on YouTube. The Amsterdam Baroque Orchestra and Choir, their version, I think I've got this name right, Ton, I hesitate to say it, it's a Dutch name. Ton means sound in German, which is interesting. I want to talk about that for, it might be a few days. Not all the movements. I think I'll just deal with the choral movements of it. But in any case, as I talk about this, I am not a pro. I thought about being a music major when I was at college. I started off with that possibility, but then I opted for English instead. So I'm not a pro. But I wanted to ask you to listen for certain things. One of them is a double dot. I didn't even learn about that until late in life, and I'm not positive that the orchestra is playing a double dot. But music learners learn that you've got a dotted quarter followed by an eighth, or an eighth note followed, a dotted eighth note followed by a 16th. That's a dot. Well, in Baroque music, they also had something called a double dot. And I don't think it's absolutely certain what it sounded like, but it makes it quicker. The rhythmic figure at the beginning is going to go bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. That's what the orchestra is going to be doing. It sounds to me like a double dot. It gives Baroque music a real snappiness, a real snap to it, and I think it's there. You'll notice, and I also want to point out, see, I'm not going to talk about the words today. I'll save that, I guess, maybe for tomorrow or next time. But you're going to hear that the music has got these rising melodies. When the cantus firmus comes in, pom 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 pom, then it comes out Wachet Auf. That's do mi so. It's rising. Wake up. That's called symbolism, I think. I didn't go back and look it up, but Baroque music often did that. They had their music present what they were saying. The most spectacular example of that is probably George Frederick Handel's depiction of the plagues in his oratorio Israel in Egypt. The frogs, the bees, the fire out of the sky. But anyway, you'll hear these rising, not only what the cantus firmus does, which is like the main tune sung by the sopranos, but also the strings. But they're running up scales all the time, if you'll pay attention. Again and again, they'll go down, they'll run up a scale and they'll run up a scale. So the whole thing, you hear this rising. I'm pretty sure it's 5 sopranos. I know there's more than 4. This is a small choir, which is what it should be. It's accurate. And I said the period instruments, the wooden oboes. The altos are men except for one. There's one woman that is an alto. At first I thought, well, she's singing tenor. And then I thought, oh no, that's the alto section. The men are singing alto, and she's one of the altos. The cantos firmus, the sopranos, in a way, you might say they've got an easy job to do because they don't sing any of the intricate scales and trills. They just are. I'm not certain how many trills the choir actually sings, but anyway, they just sing the tune slowly, but they have to sing it loud and strong. There's 5 of them. Well, yeah, I said it. And the whole way through, they just sing one stanza of the chorale that this cantata is based on. And incidentally, at some point I wanted to tell you that Bach wrote so many cantatas. I think he wrote about 350, enough that you could do a different one every Sunday for, 7 years, if you performed them every Sunday. It kind of boggles the mind. Anyway, film editing, that's another thing you're going to notice, I hope, right away, that in this particular version of it, the film editing is so good. The cameras are well placed, and they give lots of portraits, or sort of portraits, of the people singing and the people playing. You get to know them, see them close up, these close-ups of faces. And I liken it in my mind, in a way, to a music video, where it's not just hearing the music, but it's seeing something. I care a lot about seeing my players or the singers, their faces. It's not enough for me to just sort of ride along in the car and hear the music. I like that, or hear the music somewhere. I want to see it, and I get to here. There's a soprano that moves a little bit more than the others. I see dancing. You're usually, I think, trained, if you sing in a choir of this kind of music, that you don't move. You're supposed to stay still. You're not supposed to be swaying around. I've asked before, when I conducted a choir that mostly did Baroque music. I conducted a choir for 25 years in this area, and we've done this. And different times I had to ask my singers to not be doing this as they're singing. I guess it draws too much attention to them or something. That's just kind of basic training. And these are very good. But sometimes it's so hard to resist some motion because this music is so, in a sense, danceable. So you'll notice that. They're all really good. Notice the conductor does not have a baton. He's got his hands. That is authentic to the time. With a little group like that, you didn't need a baton to be waving around. I call it a French horn. There's a I think that horn is carrying the cantus firmus. Now all the other voices, the tenors, the bass, the altos, they're all doing some really intricate, they call them melismas. I don't want to lay on all these terms. For one thing, I say I'm not a pro, but they're doing tricky stuff. But I think the French horn, I didn't have the score right in front of me, but I think the French horn is just backing up the cantus firmus, I think. Just other things, not important, but, well, windows. If you look in the background, you look at the windows, they're clear glass. This is a cathedral, clear glass. When I was in Amsterdam, center of Amsterdam, at one point I went in a church and I thought, these windows are clear glass, why is that? And I thought, oh, maybe it was because the Protestants didn't like the stained glass. I don't think so. I think what you're seeing there is still after World War I, or World War II especially, the bombing and stuff, so much was destroyed. That's what I suspect in that church. But that's not important. Anyway, I'd like you to listen to the first movement to its end. It's called a cadence when you come to a stopping spot. And to the cadence at the 6-minute 50-second second. And I'm going to ask you today to listen to it. If you're English speakers, if you speak no German, you're not going to understand what they're saying. Don't worry about it. Just listen to the music and see this stuff. And then tomorrow I want to talk about what they're saying. All right, I'm back at it. See you next time, probably tomorrow. Bye for now.